Hello everybody, welcome back to another Drafting to Victory video. Today I'm going to be going over my post-race review of the Great American Race, the 2025 Daytona 500. First of all, I'm going to go over my predictions I made earlier in the week, and I'm going to see how well I did, and I actually did pretty well. I got three out of four of my predictions correct. Obviously, I got Castroneves correct because he was guaranteed. But I got Allgaier. I didn't get him correct on speed. He had to make it in the race. He made a gutsy 3 wide to make it 3 wide in the final laps of the duels that he was in, and got enough positions on JJ Yaley. And then MTJ, I got him right. He did make it on speed. Martin Truex, he made the race on speed like I predicted, and he also made the race overall. Well, yeah, he made it on speed. But in the duels, I got it right with LaJoy. He's a great plate racer. It's the only thing he's been good at his career. No offense to him, but it's true. And then I did end up getting Alfredo wrong. I said Alfredo would make it in the duels over Jimmy Johnson, but Jimmy Johnson ended up making it, and he had quite the good 500. We'll get into that. But I'm pretty impressed with myself with my predictions. But enough of me hyping myself up. Let's get into the actual race breakdown of what has happened yesterday. So in stage one finished under caution. Stage one was ended up won by Joey Logano over Ford teammates of Brad Keselowski and in-house teammate Ryan Blaney behind me. He ended up taking third, and Brad got second. So stage one was relatively clean. We only had one wreck with everybody checking up the accordion effect, and Denny Hamlin got bumped by Smith, and he goes down on the apron, and he ended up saving it, but Smith, in wreck avoidance mode, drifts up the track, catches the two. He spins as well, unable to save it, comes up, collects the 21 car of Josh Berry this year, and both end up with damage, which leads to the caution. So that was stage one. Pretty good stage. I mean, as far as Daytona goes, it was relatively clean. A lot of fuel saved. That was pretty much the name of the game. It's pretty much what it's become with the next gen car is fuel save, fuel save, fuel save. Go for 20 laps. In stage two started off with a 10 car crash when Joey Logano was unable to go because he was eventually discovered that he sucked in a piece of a plastic bag or a full plastic bag, went through the grill, went through the grill into the throttle body, and ended up getting clogged in there. And whenever he tried to go full throttle or shift into fourth gear, it would just stall out on him. And that is what happened on the restart. He was leading the pack, the outside line, and Blaney's pushing him, but he doesn't go, so everybody just bumping into each other, and ended up with everybody just stacking up with the one getting turned, and then coming back up the track and collecting Helio Castroneves. Both of those cars DNF'd because of it, as well as Martin Truex Jr., and I feel really bad for Helio Castroneves. Really good driver in IndyCar and endurance racing side, but man, he was cursed during speed weeks. He had a terrible duels, didn't qualify well. Like I said, he got taken out in the duels, crashed twice in one wreck, so that's how it went. And then in ARCA, he was in three crashes, I believe, and the third one, he actually got dumped after the checkered flag came out, so he's definitely had a bad stock car experience, but there's definitely hopefully, I hope he comes back and runs a road course, because then it will be in his hands, essentially. In pack racing, all of the wrecks, none of the wrecks were his fault. He didn't cut anybody off. He didn't try to clear himself when he wasn't clear, like Chandler Smith did in the duels. He did a great job for a first-time guy, but like I said, he had a ton of bad luck. And then stage two ends with Blaney edging out teammate Austin Cindric to the line after getting a great push from Chase Elliott. Stage two was very good as well, besides the few wrecks that we did have. And then in the final stage, saw a lot of 3 wide. It was really cool. It was off fuel save, essentially. So people were able to build runs, go a little bit faster, build the outside lane. And there was a good battle between Blaney and Wallace, and Byron eventually joined three wide, all battling for each other, or for the position, or spot number one of the race, to lead the race, essentially. I don't know what I'm stumbling over my words, but let me just catch my spot. The first wreck of the stage, well, there had been phantom debris cautions, which fans hate. I hate them. When Logano was about to go a lap down, there's a debris caution, and couldn't find any debris for the cameras to pick up, but it helped Logano get the free pass, or stay on the lead lap, and then eventually get the free pass. And then in stage 3, when they needed to save for fuel, and there was going to be green flag pit stops, which everybody loves to see, there was another phantom debris caution that could not be found. So whatever that was, sucked to see because there was no green flag pit stops. But the first wreck of the stage happened rather late with 15 to go, when Logano tries to move beneath Stenhouse, and Stenhouse comes down to block, and Stenhouse essentially, I saw it as Stenhouse refusing to give the spot up and just shoving Logano into Blaney and Bush, and then eventually getting spun, or spinning Stenhouse, and everybody, Stenhouse comes down, corrects it, hits Blaney and Bush, and Logano comes back up into Keselowski, and Blaney comes up as well. But I say it's kind of just racing. I see Logano's going for a position. There's obviously room there. I saw room there, personally. That's been the third lane, the middle lane. And Stenhouse, after the one block fails, when Logano's at his quarter panel, just go back up into the third lane, get the push from, I think it was John Hunter Nemechek. That's what he should have done. He should have looked in his mirror and seen that instead of trying to force the issue. I mean, you can see the gas or the flames coming out of Logano. He's off the throttle. So I kind of put it on both of them, honestly. It's just racing deal. This is what I saw it. But a lot of fans like to jump on Logano because he's the defending champ off a bad championship, and he's never well liked, so he's easy to blame. And then the second wreck would be when Bell was pushed. Oh, it also would take out Kyle Busch out of contention and lead to him DNFing, which was unfortunate to see. A lot of people, including myself, wanted to see him possibly or win the 500. But the second wreck of the stage would come with a bad push from Cole Custer and C. Bell already having a hard-to-control car. And so this was the big wreck of the race, in my opinion, even though we did have the wreck on the white flag. But Cole Custer's pushing Bell down the back stretch, ends up turning him into the wall. I mean, we've all seen the replay, but he comes back down, catches Ryan Preece, and just completely lifts him up in the air. And I'm sitting there watching, expecting the car to come back down on all fours, kind of like we saw Ty Gibbs in the Clash. Obviously, they're going a lot slower, but just bounce up in the air and come back down. But that air just hit the flat bottom of the car and just kept lifting and lifting, eventually turning it to its side where it flips and then comes back on all fours, backs it into the fence, almost flips again, comes down the banking. And a very scary crash for Preece. And I'm glad he's all right and everybody else involved is all right. But it was definitely a scary sight. And then and it was so close to collecting the 24 car of William Byron as well, with Bell coming down the track. I mean, it was like that close to 24, and we have a completely different thing to talk about. But moving on the final restart, it began with Denny Hamlin leading over Austin Cindric, and they had a great battle during 2 to go and during the white flag before the wreck. Austin Cindric leads at the white flag, and we got to give a shout out to Riley Herbst for his incredible save to not, when he gets turned right as they take the white, he gets turned through the grass, the wet grass, because it was a 4-hour rain delay, whatever it was, and he is able to straighten it back out, get back up on the track, and continue on his way, because if he turns back up the track, that's a caution. I mean, could see a caution there. And we got to give we'll get to that, but just want to give him a shout out. And then Denny Hamlin pushes Cindric way out in front. Great moves. I mean, Denny Hamlin knows how to win here. And so he's able to get side by side along Cindric, falls back to Cole Custer, who gets a run from Chase Briscoe, and he moves up to Hamlin. And my first reaction to the wreck was it was Cole Custer turning down on Hamlin and not knowing 3 wide or whatever and pinching him to wreck. But I ended up watching the replay in slow motion, and you can see Cole Custer comes down to side draft, but the 19 nose catches the quarter panel of Cole Custer, which turns him right, or turns him left into Denny Hamlin. If you watch the replay with the overhead shot and slow it down, you can see Cole Custer's coming down, but Chase Briscoe's right there, and then that's end up what turns him into Hamlin. I originally put that on Cole Custer, but it wasn't entirely on him. And then, just again, Byron barely makes it through again. Hamlin comes back up the track, and who do you know who's right there, who almost gets hit? It's William Byron. He did end up catching a little bit of Tyler Reddick, but it was still not enough to not allow him to finish second. It scrubbed off some speed. Maybe he could have caught Byron if he didn't hit the wall and get the 11 of his team owner hitting him, but we'll never know there. But a few cars made it through. Like I said, Reddick made it through, and we got to give a shout out to Jimmy Johnson. He still got it in there somewhere because he was able to get through that wreck. It's so cool seeing the overhead shot and seeing how far back Jimmy Johnson is before the wreck, and then watching him get through and finish third. That was a cool sight to see of Jimmy Johnson and his excitement to get the third. And we got to our top 10. We got William Byron, obviously, Tyler Reddick, and Jimmy Johnson, like I said. And then Chase Briscoe was able to keep it straight, and he was able to collect fourth. Oh, I want to give a shout-out to NASCAR. There was some controversy in the week during the duels of why do you throw the caution flag 100 feet from the finish line? Just let them race to the line. Nobody's going to be going any slower, even if they're like, oh, it's caution, let me lift. They're going to be traveling the same speed by the time they cross the finish line versus if it stayed green. So there's a lot of controversy from that, and they heard the fans saying, let's just keep it green. So I applaud NASCAR for keeping it green when the wreck is on the backstretch, and there was no major hits. There wasn't anybody T-boning anybody that would have been where it's like, okay, we got to check on this guy. Or there wasn't a flip. Obviously, there's a flip, throw a caution. If there's a T-bone, if there's a brutal hit into the inside wall or outside wall, there should be a caution. But there was no real bad hits, kind of just cars hitting each other. So I applaud NASCAR for keeping it green. And then we've got, where was that? Jimmy Johnson, Chase Briscoe fourth. Jonathan Nemechek for his teammate, or team owner and teammate Jimmy Johnson. He collects fifth. And then we got Alex Bowman, and he continues his top 10 streak with 3 top 10s in a row at this track, at the Daytona 500. We got Ryan Blaney. That was pretty impressive. We're able to recover from the earlier wreck with Logano and Stenhouse. And then Austin Cindric, he's able to keep it straight as well. Have been Blaney and Cindric both had really good cars. They're kind of upset with 7th and with 6th and 7th. They obviously wanted more. And then Justin Allgaier, how about that for Junior Motorsports? First career start for Junior Motorsports. They're able to make it in the duels, and they're able to avoid any major damage. They did get some throughout the race, but they ended up getting the top 10. First start. That's pretty awesome for Junior. Everybody loves to see that. And then Chris Buescher ends up getting a top 10 for RFK Racing, even though Priest had some major issues, as well as team owner Brad Keselowski. And the biggest losers of the race, in my opinion, is the 01 of Corey LaJoie finishing 22nd. He put on a great showing. I mean, you can say what you want about the guy, about his personality, about what he says, but he gets it done on plate races. I mean, he put Rick Ware car leading the race with 8 to go, and was into contention, was 4th or 5th before the wreck with Cole Custer and Denny Hamlin, all them. So he's definitely deserves some applaud, even though he didn't finish where he wanted to, but he still had a heck of a race. And we got Denny Hamlin. Like I said, he's leading on the backstretch of the Daytona 500, ended up getting wrecked and finishing 24th, as well as Brad Keselowski, another fast car for him. He finishes 26th. Bubba Wallace as well. He led a lot of laps, and he was on a lot of people's possible winners list, and he was in the contention for a few stage wins as well. And then Kyle Busch, of course, he's up at the front late and doesn't get his 500 yet again. He finishes 34th. And then we've got the top 3 in points. Ryan Blaney, my guy, leads William Byron by 1 point and 3 points over Austin Cindric. And NASCAR history, for the first time ever, a driver in the Hall of Fame is top 10 in points with Jimmy Johnson at 8th, which is pretty impressive to see. But overall, I'm going to rate this race out of 100 is going to be my score. Max you can have is 100. Worst race is a 1. Obviously, this race is not a 1. I'm going to go ahead and give it an 88 out of 100. I like the whole race overall. The only drawback I have is obviously no green flag pit stops and ending under, not under caution, but ending under a wreck instead of racing back to the line and everybody in a pack and a possible close finish. But an amazing race. I mean, the rain delay sucked, but it was cool to be able to finish on Sunday instead of having it moved to Monday. I applaud NASCAR once again for sticking with it, watching the radar, keeping the track dry, getting all the effort they can to keep it on Sunday. So overall, 88 out of 100. Good start of the race, or start of the year. We'll see. I'll have another video out soon for my Atlanta, what I foresee happening. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this race breakdown, and I'll see you all in the next one. Just make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all later. Bye.